I'm Lindsay with Garden Hands. Today I'm out in the vegetable garden and we're going to be tackling a little bit of the less glamorous side of gardening today. I have a little bit of compost that I'd like to put on top of the raised beds. So we're going to get that done while the weather is still great. It's still a couple months before we'll be putting anything out in the raised bed, so now is a great time to do it. A few of the reasons that it's really important to add compost to your beds is that it helps bring nutrients and different organisms into the soil. It also helps your soil retain water and those nutrients better. And if you have heavier soil, maybe clay soil, this will help loosen your soil up a little bit. The best time to add compost to your beds is probably in the fall, which I am not doing, but the second best time would be in the spring. Both of these allow the compost enough time to work its way down into your existing soil so that when you plant your plants, the roots will be able to soak up some of those nutrients that you've put in. I tend to put about 2 to 3 inches of compost on if I have it, and I find that that has worked well for me so far. Before we get to putting the compost on, I do have drip tube run in most of my raised beds, and we're going to want to take that out. I'm just going to set it off to the side and it will go right back in as soon as we're ready to plant this spring. That's done. Now we're going to fill up the wheelbarrow, top off some of these beds. I did do some of them in the fall, and some of them have stuff planted that already had compost on them. So just a few beds to do, then we'll be done. So now we're in the back of our property. We have the horse pen behind me and the windmill. And this is a project that is not on the top of my bucket list to get done this year, but I figured since it's a nice weekend, I will come out and get this done and show you what I'm gonna do. So my husband mows back here, and there's a corner, which is kind of annoying when you have a riding lawnmower. And I don't wanna haul the weed whip out here every week to keep it nice and clean. So I thought if we put in a little corner bed and put some flowers in, then that would be a win-win. I would get pretty flowers back here and he wouldn't have to worry about getting close to the edge. So what we're gonna do today is outline this as a bed, and we're just gonna do the no dig method. I'm gonna try and put some cardboard on top of it and put some compost on top of that, and perhaps we'll get to use it this year, but if not, we'll get to use it next year. Either way, we won't have to come out here and use the weed whipper every week. So here are the supplies that I brought out today for this project. I have a wheelbarrow, so we can put our compost in that when we are done. I have my cardboard. I have a couple shovels. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to use. because I have a lot of twine from my hay bales from my horses, I'm going to use that to mark the outline of my flower bed. You could also use a hose, an extension cord, spray paint, or even flour to mark the outline of your flower bed. Whatever you have will work. All I'm going to do is make this into a nice long rope. All right, I have my rope. I'm going to lay it out and we'll see if it's long enough, and then we'll work on the shape of it. I think that'll work, and it's actually bigger than I thought it was going to be, so this is exciting. All right, the next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use my edger and go along the edge of this bed so that we can stop the grass from going into the bed. Well, I got some of the hard work done. The bed is now edged and it looks great. It's a lot bigger than I was thinking, so I'm even more excited about that. Next, I'm going to put a couple layers of cardboard over it, and then I'm going to top that with hopefully about 5 or 6 inches of compost. This will suppress any sunlight that is trying to get to these weeds and grass, and they hopefully will not grow now. So in a couple months, I will have a beautiful flower bed that is ready to plant. Well, we just finished up putting compost on top of the flower bed and it looks great. I will check it in another month or two and add more compost if needed. We didn't have quite as much as I thought ready, so I'll just top it off in a couple months. Thanks for joining me as I was working in the garden today and creating a new flower bed. Please like and subscribe and stay tuned for what we have coming up in our next videos.